All right, good, good. Let's talk about big news in the NFL. Daniel Jones.
Oh man.
Um, after the Giants last Sunday, they decided to put Daniel Jones at fourth string and put Tommy Cutlets as the starter. They put him at fourth string. Then he was on the scout team as a safety. And to make matters even more shocking, the New York Giants decided to release Daniel Jones. I'm going to read you a statement from John Mara, the Giants president. This is what John Mara said on the release of Daniel Jones. Daniel came to see me this morning and asked if we would release him. We mutually agreed that would be best for him and for the team. Daniel has been a great representative of our organization, first class in every way. His handling of the situation yesterday exemplifies just that. We are all disappointed in how things have worked out. We hold Daniel in high regard and have a great appreciation for him. We wish him nothing but the best in the future. Um, this is I got to be honest with you, I'm not really surprised that Daniel Jones asked to be released, because when you saw the press conference or the statement that he made after when the Giants announced that Tommy DeVito was going to be the starter, he would be fourth string, and then being put on safety on the scout team, that tells you all you need to know. He was just done. He had enough with the Giants organization. Look, this is on the New York Giants, because in 2019 you wanted to draft a quarterback. It was either him or Russ his soul, Dwayne Haskins Jr. Russ his soul. You decided to go with Daniel Jones with the 6th overall pick because he played at Duke, and the head coach at the time, David Cutcliffe, who worked with the Mannings and has a relationship with the Mannings. So I believe the only reason why Daniel Jones was drafted by the New York Giants was because of Cutcliffe and Cutcliffe's relationship with the Mannings. And the Giants felt like this could be the guy to be the successor to one Eli Manning. And you look at Daniel Jones throughout his career. I mean, he struggled early on with turnovers. 2022, first year with Brian Daboll as the head coach, they were able to make the playoffs, won a playoff game against the Minnesota Vikings. And then after that, they gave him the 4-year, $160 million contract, which, by the way, smart on Daniel Jones' part, because, hey, you're coming off a playoff year. You won a playoff game. No one expected much from you. And the Giants idiotically did not pick up his 5th-year option. Had you picked up the 5th-year option, you wouldn't have to pay Daniel Jones all that amount of money, but you did. And now, this is on the Giants. At some point during the season, Daniel Jones was going to be yanked out, and they were going to put in Tommy Cutlets, Tommy DeVito. And yes, it is exciting because Tommy DeVito is Italian. You know, New Jersey, New York, the Italian, a lot of Italians who live around there. It's great. It's going to be entertaining. It's going to be fun for Giants fans to enjoy. But for Daniel Jones, man, I think it's about enough. What I hope for Daniel Jones is that he ends up having the same type of trajectory as Baker Mayfield. Sorry, Harrison, I hate to bring this up, but with Carolina, he did ask for a release from the team. Then he ended up going to the Los Angeles Rams for a little bit. Hey, what better way to rejuvenate your career with Sean McVay? And then where he is right now at Tampa. Last year, he took the team to the playoffs, had a career high in passing yards, had a career high in touchdown passes, able to get the Buccaneers to the playoffs, won a playoff game, and has proven he's a good enough quarterback. And so far, he is. 24 touchdown passes, only 9 interceptions, proven this is the type of quarterback that we could go forward with. We can have him around. I hope for Daniel Jones, he can go somewhere where an organization can believe in him, help him, coach him, and at the same time, he's willing to do his part. New York Giants, man, you stuck in this mess. I don't. You might as well just tank for the rest of the season, and good luck trying to get a Shador Sanders or a Cam Ward. That is if you're going to tank for the rest of the season, because there's some other teams that need a quarterback in this draft. But to me, Harrison, this is more to do with the New York Giants and their mess. Look, some people can look at Daniel Jones as weak in this situation, but hey, I
Right.
can't blame him in this situation because look, they don't believe in him. He's had enough with the organization. You can say he wasn't the best guy at first to begin with, but at the same
Right.
time, if you're the Giants, you brought him there. So Harrison, I'm gonna let you go first because I know he played at Duke. What are your
Yeah.
thoughts about the whole thing?
I mean, as a Duke fan, it's sad. It's just disappointing to see this guy like struggle. I mean, he's been through so many different head coaches, so many offensive coordinators. I mean, it's just been really terrible for him, and I'm glad that I don't know how much cap money they just wasted it on Daniel Jones. I think it was a lot. I think it was like 20 or 40,
I'll look it up
42,
for you.
42 million.
47. I was trying to sound it out. My bad. I didn't want to interrupt you while you was talking.
No, no, go ahead. No, $47 million. I mean,
Yeah, dead hit. Yeah.
it's just like I don't want to give up on him yet. As a Duke fan, like I don't want to give up on him just because of like Jameson Crowder, Daniel Jones, Graham Barton. Yeah, we don't have like a lot of Duke football players, but basketball's a different story. But we don't have the Duke players that we had in football. But listen, put me on the big screen, PS. Put me on solo, PSP.
All right, just be careful.
Now I got you. I got you. Daniel Jones, I love you. Yeah, I know you're a Charlotte native for life. You know what I'm saying? But I think what will happen, this is a what if. What happens if you go to the Dallas Cowboys and beat your former team?
Oh my god.
I mean, champ, we've seen this. We've seen it before. We've seen this. I've seen this on TikTok before. But Daniel Jones, your career is not over yet. I still have full faith in you that you can turn your career around. We've seen that from Baker Mayfield before. But Daniel Jones, don't give up just yet. You're still young. I don't know how old you are. You're probably 26 years old. You still got a lot of time.
27.
27. Oh, close enough. You're 27 years old. Don't give up. You still have a lot of hope left. Just don't quit. Just don't quit. All right, that's all I'm gonna say. But it just sucks as a Duke fan because I don't want to give up on this guy whatsoever.
BRF.
Wow. And the crazy thing is people's actually throwing that idea out there. Can you imagine him being the starting quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys going up against the New York Giants on Thanksgiving? Could you imagine that? Could
Oh,
you imagine? Could you imagine that? The
Actually, it's not
drama.
surprising. It's not
The
surprising. You know why? Jerry loves box office and ratings. He wouldn't mind that.
oh man. But the drama would just be endless if Daniel Jones was to go out that route. But I mean,
Talk about
but
reality
I'm with
TV
you.
for you.
Oh boy, a big reality check. That'd be a huge slap in the face if he was to just go to Dallas and beat them like that. You can't get no worse than that. But I don't really hold anybody responsible but the New York Giants organization and the front office. They're the ones most to blame for this because it's the fact that you gave him that extension, knowing you had a fifth year option that you could have picked. You could have, like you said, you could have picked up. You give him one more year, and then he follows night 20, and then he follows 2019 up with that horrific. He follows it up with the the 2020 or whatever, and or like you go to the playoffs. You beat Minnesota. Nobody was expecting you to do that, and then you give him the contract, and it's like, man, you gave up this money instead of Saquon Barkley, and like, well, it's like, what are we doing? You pick up the 5th-year option. I mean, it would have been so much simpler. You pick up the 5th-year option. You give Saquon his money, and you might not be in this situation. And yeah, I'm watching SmackDown too. I'm trying not to look and stare at it because this is a huge moment going on right now. Paul Heyman just returned. So,
No.
but anyways, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I
Heyman,
can understand because Champ's eyes were starting to look a little bit colorful.
bro, mine lit up too when I heard the ladies and gentlemen. I'm like, wait a minute. Okay, I'm gonna have to watch that, and I'm gonna have to watch it in its entirety. But focusing back on the topic. But yeah, I hold nobody responsible for this but the New York Giants organization, because they should have thought this through before they gave Daniel Jones that contract. I mean, you kind of had to look at it as kind of more of like an anomaly, an anomaly, like just one of those. Okay, you struck lightning in the bottle once. Like, is it really gonna? You really think you're gonna get it again? And then it's like the regression came back, and then Kenny kind of turned into what he was outside of the one playoff year. So I hold nobody responsible for the New York Giants. And I mean, oh my God. Okay, backhand. Um, I don't. Daniel Jones in this situation has 2 options. He can either go to a bottom team, go be the starting quarterback, go play, earn your money somewhere else, go to a bad team, or go to a team trying to get to a playoffs, be a backup, and just soak in, watch that guy work, soak in as much as you can, and just kind of like become better as a professional, as a player, as a quarterback, just all of that. And for Daniel Jones' sake, I would rather him pick the latter. But I know. But Daniel Jones is a competitor. He's a competitor, and he's gonna want to go out there and compete. That's why, honestly, the Dallas Cowboy idea, it even though I wouldn't want it, see it, it just makes for interesting television. And now I'm just kind of thinking about I'm thinking about what is he gonna do, and it does bring some heat here, it brings some drama, and I'm interested to see what he's gonna do. But I do wish him well. I hope it's not the end of him. I mean, I hope to see that trajectory as far as like leaving a bad squad and then going to a better squad and maybe kind of picking your game up. I do kind of want to see that trajectory come out of him, because I do think there's talent there. There is talent there. He's got arm strength. He can obviously run. He's a really talented runner as a quarterback. So I mean, it's not like the talent isn't there. He's got some talent there. Maybe he just needs a better situation. The Giants is definitely not it. So I mean, just one of these things I'm definitely going to keep an eye on. I'm definitely going to keep an eye on and see what he does. But because the talent's there, I think he just needs a better situation.
Yeah, he better hope he has a head coach who can work with him, like a Sean McVay or an Andy Reid or something like that. But undisputed world champ, what are your thoughts about the whole thing with Daniel Jones?
Number one, BRF, it was written, and Flash was absolutely right. You and both Flash, but we'll get to that tomorrow. Look.
Oh, and by the way, I'm sorry. Please go check out Champ's podcast tomorrow night, y'all.
I appreciate that. That is awesome. You're awesome.
Anytime.
Yeah, I appreciate that. That is awesome.
New night, Saturday night, 9 Eastern time, y'all. Y'all do that.
Yes, indeed. I appreciate that, PSP, man. Thank you for everything. Oh man. Look. This is exactly what happens when you chase up behind, when you play your cards wrong. You got a good deck, but you picked the wrong card. Your franchise player is right now at your division rival, having an MVP caliber season.
Hmm.
Let me say that again. Your franchise player, Saquon Barkley, is out there having a MVP season with your division rival, and they have the best record in the league right now. Outside, well, in the NFC, I will say,
Outside of Detroit.
outside of Detroit. So, hey, in the great words of Trey Songz, you fumbled. Number two, I don't put all of this blame on Daniel Jones, man. Number one, he has had, much like Baker Mayfield, he's had his share of head coaches. Joe Judge was not the best coach. You know, if you remember that press conference that he said that he doesn't have to be a motivator because you get a check every week. I'll never forget he said that. And I think that proved to be his downfall. Then you brought in Brian Daboll. But, you know, Brian Daboll, he did his best to work with him because of the work he did with Josh Allen. But unfortunately, Daniel Jones is not Josh. Organize what they want to do. They can't pinpoint the things they would like to do. Right now, the bright spots that are on this team is the running back and Malik Neighbors and that defense. So you got to build upon that. I will say this, though. Let's not give up on these quarterbacks too soon, man. We've seen way too many times in history that a quarterback may not succeed one place, but he'll go another place and he will succeed. Hell, you saw that with one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time with Johnny Unitas. People don't understand this. Johnny Unitas got cut by the Pittsburgh Steelers. And he was working construction before he went and played for the Baltimore Colts. Jim Zorn was cut by the Dallas Cowboys and became a Pro Bowler for the Seattle Seahawks. Jim Plunkett, the best example. Not only did he not succeed in New England, but he failed in San Francisco. He goes to Oakland, wins 2 Super Bowls. Tommy Maddox, drafted high overall to be the heir apparent to John Elway. He ends up getting so bad where he goes to the Arena League, comes back, leads the Pittsburgh Steelers to the playoffs. And the latest example, Baker Mayfield, OU, shout out to PSP and my boy Cal. And look what Baker Mayfield is doing now. Granted, the team is not doing very good because they don't have any defense right about now, and they're missing Chris Godwin and the great Mike Evans. But look at how far Baker Mayfield has come since his days in Cleveland. When similarly to Daniel Jones, he had a revolving door at the head coaching position, had a franchise in disarray, clearly doesn't have a lot of directions, not holding on to their best player and protecting their best assets. It's crazy. But like I said, when you invest too much in quarterbacks, in the great words of Peter King, one of the greatest writers that Sports Illustrated ever employed, when you invest too much in your quarterback, you're going to die a lot more than you're going to live. You're going to die a lot more than you're going to live. And you're going to die on some bad heels because everybody and their mom knows that Saquon should have gotten that huge contract. He was the heart of that team. He was what made that offense flow. But instead, right now, you at the payphone calling Tyrone and looking at the Philadelphia Eagles saying, darn, that could have been me. That could have been me. You haven't done anything since Tom Coughlin left, ironically. And so, hey, you got to get some order within that franchise because guess what? This is not going to cut it. But like I said, you fumbled the bag when you let Saquon go. And my thing is this. It would just be such poetic justice if he wins the MVP and wins the Super Bowl in the same year. And, hey, you might get food if you come from out of town. But it looks like New York got food this time.
And I'm telling you right now, man, with Daniel Jones, I mean, if you look at his career as a starter, 24, 45, and 1. But I think, look, I think he'll be fine. The question is, which team will take him? That's the thing. I mean, which team that is actually going to be out there and actually take a shot on Daniel Jones?
LA,
Okay.
Can I take a guess?
the Rams.
I mean,
Wonder if they want to still keep
no.
Matthew Stafford.
I mean, let him learn behind Matthew Stafford, just
No,
like Baker
no,
Mayfield.
they got your Georgia boy, Stetson Bennett.
I mean, look, he had no.
Sorry.
Remember. No. You're not lying. You're not lying. But the thing is, remember, the two quarterbacks that are in the running for comeback player of the year still is Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold. Remember, they had both of them out there. They had both of them at one point.
Where you want him to go, champ? You want Daniel Jones to Cleveland?
No.
Okay.
No. That's just like
I mean, the rate.
That's just like That's just like dropping an atomic bomb into a gas tank. Don't do that. Don't do that to that young man. No.
If I had to, I'd probably say the Raiders, the Cowboys.
I would say the Rams.
Yeah, the Rams. That'll be a good option for.
Brock Purdy needs a backup right about now because I don't think that Kyle Shanahan trusts any of those guys behind him.
I mean, if we think about it, because look at Sam Darnold now, because he was with Sam Darnold was with the 49ers too, and guess what? Look at Minnesota.
Honestly, look at the San Francisco 49ers. Brock Purdy just got announced he's not playing. Brandon Allen starting.
Yeah, Brandon Allen.
Daniel Jones could go to San Francisco right now and be the starter with Brock Purdy out.
Time out real quick. I don't mean to interrupt. When did this happen?
I sent it on the group chat.
PSP sent it on the group chat. This happened today.
I must have missed it because of the Daniel Jones situation. So
you been freebasing or something?
No. You know what? PSP, you like my brother, man. You love stealing my lines.
Listen, you told me with them pipe bombs. I mean, I'm good with them pipe bombs, man. I told you about the Clinton one, but that's a story for another day.
But yeah, I didn't realize that had happened. Is he did he hurt a hamstring or something?
His shoulder.
Okay. And that's a concern right there. But you know what? I was thinking San Francisco for Daniel Jones or maybe Miami. Put him with a Mike McDaniel. Put him with you're doing what you're doing with Tua. Daniel Jones has more athleticism.
Yeah.
I mean, that wouldn't be bad, but I would put him with a good offensive-minded coach, somebody that's proven. I would love to see him back up, go out there to San Francisco or LA.
Mike McDaniel's not shabby, Chip. And plus, Mike McDaniel ain't shabby as a play caller offensively. Mm-hmm. And plus, he knows that Daniel Jones can run some read option, spread option. Daniel Jones can run the football. Mm-hmm. Mike McDaniel can incorporate that.
Yeah, I agree. But like I said, it's just a little bit of the whole proven thing. I know that, Kyle Shanahan is kind of proven. His rap sheet is kind of proven. He can kind of make people don't like to give Kyle Shanahan credit, but made it to a Super Bowl with Jimmy G. Me and Brock Purdy. You haven't made it to the Super Bowl with a lot of Hall of Fame caliber quarterbacks. Let's just keep it all the way 100. And now Sam Darnold's doing good up there in Minnesota. Or either I would love to see him at LA. And like I said, I know Stetson Bennett is kind of, working his way back up. But, like I said, he had his issues. That's like he had to take a year off. Right. I don't think he's quite ready as of yet. Now, we saw what he could do in that huge comeback in that preseason game against the Cowboys, but I think that he needs a little bit of seasoning before he's the old Stetson Bennett again, especially with, some of the problems that he went through in the offseason.
And you know what's so good that the 49ers are just struggling and probably not making the playoffs, and I freaking love it because, man, the 49er fans are getting so annoying recently.
All right, so, Champ, I'm gonna put you on the fire on this one. Because it's regarding two quarterbacks. If I gave you a choice between Daniel Jones or Desmond Ridder, which one you rolling with?
Oh, God.
I'm going with Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones, look, we can say all we want to about Daniel Jones. He's very, and I'm gonna be kind. He's very, he's very, very
I'm asking you
unorthodox.
this not because I know it's Daniel Jones, but I'm
Yeah.
asking you this because again, we all know you said about Desmond Ritter. He couldn't pass gas even if you fed him refried beans.
All
That's
night
how
long.
that's little no faith you have in Desmond Ritter, particularly last year when he couldn't even beat Harrison's Panthers in a game
Yeah.
in which the Falcons were the favorites in that one.
And we
Scored
held
nothing
him
but
to
field
nine-
goals.
we held him to 9 points and couldn't score one touchdown in the Monsoon Bowl. But yeah, Daniel Jones. But I don't think it's over for Daniel Jones, man. Like I said, man, a lot of these quarterbacks are very, very underdeveloped. They're not developed properly in this league at this point in time. And Tom Brady was absolutely right. They're not developed at this point in time. They're just throwing these guys out there and on a whim with no talent, without the proper coaching, without the proper development, without the proper pieces in the front office. So, and you saw how ridiculous that franchise was when they didn't retain Saquon Barkley, who was a huge safety net for Daniel Jones during that playoff run.
Absolutely.
So when you put guys like that in crazy situations, nothing but bad things is gonna happen. I mean, think about, I hate to bring this up. Think about Bryce Young down there in Carolina with David Tepper. Think about a lot of these guys, think about Justin Fields and what he went through in Chicago. And look at what Caleb Williams is going through right now.
Yeah, we can see the offensive line.
I mean, that offensive
line is freaking god awful.
Look, Chicago, sign me to like a one-day contract, man, and feed me one of them deep and send me about 2 of them deep dish pizzas to my room. I'll show up on time. Because I can do better than that right now. So,
Mr. World Champ, you know what's crazy that remember we fired Bryce Young fired Dennis Allen, and also now the Panthers kind of released Daniel Jones just because we actually beat them in Germany. I mean, Bryce is just like that. I think he's like the devil. He's just trying to fire everyone left and right. Jeez. He's 27 on fire. It's like bang, 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 bang.
But I think he can. Like I said, San Francisco, because bang, 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 Niner game is pew pew right now.